Bloomberg understands that the US is concerned that China may have got its hands on one of the top-making machines made by Dutch giant ASML. ASML says they've never shipped an EUV chip machine to China. So let's get some analysis from Bloomberg's senior market strategist Neil Campling. Neil, just bring us some more details on this scoop. How big a challenge is it for ASML?
It's certainly a challenge in that in trying to understand exactly what's happened, because ASML has said that they haven't shipped any of the machines out to China. So if we think ASML has actually had export restrictions to China for their leading technologies since way back since 2019. So it's happened for a long time now. If it were true that China had got hold of a machine, now it would obviously undermine Western export controls, and maybe in terms of the bigger picture, this is about the risks of shifting the global balance of AI, and I think the US would be concerned about the threat to the market dominance of the Western, if you like, the US tech giants. So. It's very difficult for China to have the most advanced chips, the most advanced microprocessors that they need for the AI tool set. So to produce frontier AI systems, you need the leading edge technology, and ASML really has a monopoly on that. So this situation it clearly is of a concern to the US government if it's true. But it's unlikely that obviously the ASML has shipped any of the equipment there. But of course, there is a lot of equipment that's sitting next door to China in terms of Taiwan, given that TSMC is the dominant player in leading chip technology.
Yeah, you kind of wonder what the ideal situation for the Trump administration would be in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is why, again, like stories yesterday around the US sort of progressing on collaboration of Intel producing more chips at home in the US. The key thing for the US is to stay ahead of the Chinese tech development for the leadership of that position. In terms of supply chains, the dominance around leading edge chips is still very much for TSMC and Samsung, and all the reports suggest that China is still like 5 years away from catching up. And of course, those companies are not standing still; they're continuing to advance their technologies. So it's difficult to see how China would catch up, even with the technology, if they did have alternative systems in place. But yeah, certainly. Many stories about domestic Chinese technology trying to accelerate their own systems, but it's difficult to see how they can do it without these really complex tools, which really is ASML's complete monopoly of the technology.